What's going on, everybody? Tim from Tirfon Orbital. So today I would like to do a little bit of an in-depth deep dive on an install commission that I completed late last week. This is for a custom one-off from Space Junk Sabers. Nevin from Space Junk Sabers, Nevin from Space Junk Sabers is calling this the MPP scrap. It's got some elements of graflex parts, MPP parts, so it's a very unique hilt. And I had to approach this install a little bit differently, right? So the hilt itself has a sliding graflex clamp section that I wanted to utilize for some sort of crystal reveal, right? So I not only had to figure out and engineer a way to get a crystal reveal and hold that crystal reveal in place, I also needed to figure out what kind of chassis I was going to utilize, because this also incorporates a cage from like an old Roman props. It's like a cage from an old V2, essentially, is what it is. So I needed to figure out how I'm going to attach my chassis to this part as well as have a crystal reveal. So I had to approach this one a little bit differently. And again, like I've said this a lot recently, luckily for me, I have resin printers here. And if I need a part, a custom part, I can just print it. I can design it up and print it and have a part ready in like 20 minutes. And that's actually what I did with this particular install. I created some custom mounts for the crystal chamber module. And also, obviously, I printed my chassis in resin. This crystal reveal is from Shtok Custom Works. It is a machined aluminum and brass crystal chamber that Shtok offers. This is not a Shapeway printed part. It is an actual machined metal crystal chamber. I've used them in some builds in the past, mainly in some Jedi killers. And I think I've put them in SKs before as well. But they're a great little, not hand machined, but they're a machined metal module. And they're really, really nice looking. So I wanted to put that in this cage section because it was big enough, right? And it was the perfect size. So we achieved that. I'm really, really happy with this install. I'm proud of the way it came out. This one is going to be a hard one to let go. It's going to be a hard one to send back because it is just it's a really nice hilt, honestly. So anyhow, let's come into Fusion first and talk about the chassis, and then we'll do an up top and look at the hilt. Okay, so here is the chassis that I did for this particular build, right? This is a fully removable chassis. We've got a stacked battery and board situation on this guy. Let me get rid of these grids because I'm making myself dizzy, right? So here is the chassis. At the bottom, we've got a 28mm bass speaker. This is from Smugglers Outpost. Battery tray sits here. We do have a kill switch on this chassis, and I did add 2 square LEDs. One is green, one is red, and they have their own animations. Around back is the Proffie board. It sits up underneath this lip to help secure it in place. And up top, we've got a 6-rail PCB. This is from Smugglers Outpost as well. Pretty straightforward chassis, greeblies everywhere. And that's pretty much it, right? I'm happy with the chassis, but I'm more happy with the solution that I found out or figured out for the crystal chamber module, right? So let's come up top and talk about that actually. So here it is. This is the MPP scrap from Space Junk Sabers. This is an awesome looking hilt, in my humble opinion. This is a really, really cool looking hilt. Again, like I'm not going to try and source a lot of these parts. Obviously, we've got a heat sink down here. This is probably a grip from an old V2 as well. We've got a graflex clamp. This looks like it might be from Saberforge. I don't know what this ribbed section is in here. Like this is just a really, really cool, way to use some of these parts. I mean, it's just a really, really, really nice hilt. Nice form factor. Like it's not too big. It's not too small. I love this hilt. It's a really, really nice hilt, right? So here is the reveal, right? So we've got a very small brass thumb screw here. Might be bronze. That holds the door in place. Unscrew that. And here is the crystal chamber, right? So this is a crystal chamber module from Shtok Custom Works. Really, really nice modules, right? They do disassemble, so you can get your crystal in there. I wired this one up with 2 neopixels. There's one at the bottom, one at the top. They are wired in line with the blade. So I did do sub blades on this particular config. So the first 2 pixels in that blade are their own animation, and then the data line continues up to the blade and it has its own animation. So with this crystal chamber module, I had to create, so I created mounts for it. The mounts kind of slide over the top and the bottom of the module, and then they are secured in place with a set screw up top, right? So that's what holds that crystal chamber in place. At the bottom, let's unscrew this. So the hilt does, it is modular. Here is the 6-rail PCB set from Smugglers Outpost, and this is how we use our removable chassis, right? So this is the other hole. I've got 2 holders for the crystal chamber. This sits at the bottom. I wire up my PCB, and then it was attached to the bottom of that crystal chamber. Really, really cool solution to get this installed, right? So here's the chassis. I left the chassis in the hilt. Luckily, it's a removable chassis, right? So here is the chassis. I did a pass of pewter rub and buff on this guy. I did paint some of the accents on it. 28mm speaker at the bottom, and here is our kill switch. This is a Proffie V3 install. So let's get a battery. Yeah, really, really happy with the way that came out. You will never need to unscrew this grip. I just wanted to do that for the purposes of the demo. But once you get your chassis ready, let's do that. So here is the spring side. Spring side is your negative. Take the flat part of your battery, rest it in that battery tray. So this was already on. There's that blinking LED animation. So that is its own animation in the config. That's it. All right. So, once you get your battery in, unscrew your pommel, slide your chassis in until it stops, screw your pommel in. There's that crystal animated. Really, really nice sounding hilt as well, right? So let's come down to the bottom. Man, that is really a cool feature, in my opinion, to have that kind of reveal there. Really, really neat. Let's see what we got on here.
What is it? Father and son.
I'm going to go ahead and put that thumb screw back on this crystal reveal door so it doesn't slide around when I put a blade in this guy. This is a 7/8 inch, I think? Yeah, 7/8 inch blade holder in this guy. So let's put a blade in it. Okay, so here we are again with a full length blade. Here's my, this is my ceiling fan right here. I have to start sitting down doing these demos, right? So 7/8 inch blade. Make sure that blade is resting on those PCB pins. We have a knurled thumb screw here that serves as your blade retention. Make sure that's cranked down and tight, and you're ready to go. Let's see what else we put on here. See what else we got.
I'm Luke Skywalker.
Got it on battle mode here. So this has been set up with color wheel on most of the fonts. To get to color wheel, you want to hold down aux and tap main. When you find a color you like, tap main again, and it'll lock that color in. So what else we put on here?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
One more. Nice sounding hilt. Really, really nice hilt. Like I said, I'm gonna have a hard time sending this one back. I really, I really like this hilt. I love the crystal reveal, and you know, I'm sorry if I'm patting myself on the back here, but I'm really happy with the way that this install came out. One of my favorite things to do is engineer a solution to what would otherwise be, you know, not so straightforward install, right? So some of these custom one-off hilts, you've really got to try and engineer a solution sometimes. And that's one of my favorite things to do. Just trying to figure out how we're going to make this a little bit easy, how we're going to make it a reliable install, right? So anyhow, awesome hilt, really, really awesome hilt. So with that being said, to the client, thank you very much for trusting me with your install. To the viewers, if anyone has any questions, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.